All right, so now what I want to do, besides having you watch me erase this, is I want to talk about Chrome extensions. I guess the anatomy of a Chrome extension. I'm going to start with the most basic kind of Chrome extension you can possibly do. So first of all, again, let's think about this diagram. This is the Chrome browser. Maybe there's a toolbar, there's an address bar, there's a whole lot of elements here. All of these elements are things we can control, manipulate, and play around with as part of making a Chrome extension. But I'm going to start with a sort of basic idea of affecting the actual content. So, for any Chrome extension that you make, the first thing that you have to have is something called manifest file, manifest.json. So this is the first thing that you need. This is a file that has all of the configuration, properties, and information about your Chrome extension. So let's go first make a manifest.json file. All right, so I'm going to go to Adam. I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to call it manifest.json. And so this is just a, sorry, I lost my train of thought. This is just a JSON file. So, and it's going to have, it's kind of like if you've ever worked with node.js, you need a package.json file that describes your project. So there's a couple things that I need in here. I need to say manifest version 2. And so I think there's different versions of like the Chrome extension API stuff, and there was an older one, maybe there's even a newer one, but 2 is the one that I use and it works. I can give it a name like coding train extension. I can give it like a version, which is just my made up thing, like, oh, it's version 0.001. And yeah, so let's actually just start with that. Okay, so let's start with that. So this is first what I need. I need to have this kind of configuration file. Now, there are a variety of kinds of Chrome extensions you can make. We mentioned this one that overrides the new tab page. There's ones that add buttons to the interface. There's browser actions pages, all sorts of things. I'm going to get to all that stuff. The first thing that I want to add to my Chrome extension is something called a content script. And if you watched my previous bookmarklet video, the content script is basically exactly the same thing that I did in the bookmarklet. It's JavaScript code that will execute when the page loads. And you can, after the whole page is loaded and finished, manipulate and draw and do things and alter the behavior and content of the web page you're currently on. This is a very powerful thing. For example, let's say you want to make a Chrome extension that for anybody browsing the New York Times, it swaps out anytime the word computer appears with the word flower. So if you wanted to do this project without a Chrome extension, how would you do it? Oh, maybe you'd have to create a whole fake website that kind of looks like the New York Times, or you would load it, and then you would copy. You'd sort of jump through all these hoops to try to create that illusion. The Chrome extension is a program, at least a content script, is a program that executes, that runs for any given web page that the browser is currently on. And you can say a lot of stuff, like only for these URLs, only for this, you can know which tab you're on. There's lots of possibilities there. So this is the first thing that I want to add. And a content script can have a bunch of things associated with it, but I'm going to associate with it just one thing, which is a JavaScript file, content.js. So before we can start writing that JavaScript code, we need to tell the manifest.json file about this content script. So let's add that. So I think I say, I might be getting some of this stuff wrong. I think I say content scripts, because there can be more than one. And then that's an array. And then I think I say, do I say JavaScript? Wait, it's an array of objects. And I think I say JS. And then I could say like content.js. So for example, here is, this Chrome extension now has a content script called, that is, where all the code for this content script is in this JavaScript file. Well, I have to make that JavaScript file now. Content.js. And all I'm going to do is put console.log, Chrome extension ready to go. Whoa, what did I just? Chrome extension go. Okay, so I'm just going to put a console log in the content script. Now, I am missing a kind of key component here, which is that by definition, a Chrome extension runs, it first checks the URL of the current page and then decides whether to run or not. So one of the things that I can add to this, I believe, is matches. And that's also an array. And then, so I could put things in here like, anytime I'm on the New York Times, and you can, I don't know if you can use a full regular expression in here, but you can definitely use wildcards. But I'm just going to do, I think it's all URLs. So this is, this should be what you put in if you want your Chrome extension to run on all URLs. So we are, by the way, we're done. We've actually made our first Chrome extension. The only thing we need is the manifest.json file that describes the Chrome extension, and we need the content.js file, which is we actually don't need that, but if I want to just do the basic one that is a content script, that's what we need. So let's see. Now, here's the question, like, oh my goodness, how do we get this to run? Do I run a local server? Do I open up the JSON file in the browser? No. So this is an interesting thing. It's actually quite simple to do. But what I want to do is go to Chrome. So by the way, so I can go to HTTP to look at URLs. I can look at things on the file path. In my previous bookmarklet videos, I showed how you could go to like a JavaScript path to execute JavaScript code. But a lot of things for Chrome, you can get to like the version, settings, all that kind of thing through the URL address bar. This is called, by the way, I think the Omnibox, I think, because there's actually, one of the things you can do with the Chrome extension is you can start to provide suggestions and make things happen based on what people type in the Omnibox. I'm going to go to Chrome extensions, and you can see here. So here's my Chrome extensions page. I only have one Chrome extension installed, JSON formatter. I can enable it or disable it. One thing you can see here is permissions. So all Chrome extensions have permission to do certain things. So it says it can read and change all your data on the websites you visit. This is actually the basic permissions for a content script. That's what content scripts are allowed to do, read and change all the data on the websites you visit. So Chrome extensions are really something you have to opt into, and there are all sorts of security and privacy questions that come with them. But we're just experimenting, playing around, and we want to make Chrome extensions just to run on this laptop here, not to be necessarily released through the Chrome store. So how do I do that? If I want to run the Chrome extension code that I made, I've got to go over here and first click developer mode. And what you see now is that these options now appear. Load unpacked extension, pack extension. The unpacked extension is just the raw code. Manifest.json, the content.js. Pack extension is then a thing I could do to like package it all into a single file to deploy it to the Chrome store. But again, that's kind of beyond the scope of what I'm doing, at least in this video, certainly maybe in all the videos. So I'm going to click Load Unpacked Extension. I'm going to navigate to the desktop. I'm going to go to my folder called Chrome Extensions. I'm going to go to this one called Basics, which is where I have those files. And I'm going to hit Select. And now we might find out that I might have made a mistake. I might get an error. Let's see. So excellent, I got an error loading an extension. So this is what happens when you incorrectly format your manifest.json file. So I'm going to have to look. I'm sure somebody in the chat is already telling me what I got wrong, but I am going to try to look and see what it is. So let me go here to manifest.json. Oh, I know what it is. The JavaScript files associated with a particular content script can be more than one JavaScript file. In fact, you can actually put, like if I wanted to use jQuery as part of my content script, I could actually put other library files, or P5 library files in this. So that needs to be an array. And actually, I should have had a clue to that, because what it's saying here, content scripts index 0 is invalid. So this has to be an array. So let me hit save, and then I should be able to hit retry. Boom. We're great. So we see coding train extension, version 0.1. Didn't I say it was version 0.01? Shouldn't that be? It's version 2.0. Yeah, okay, so for whatever reason, it probably doesn't let you do anything less than 1 decimal place. Version 1. I can check permissions, which is that, yes, it can read, it is a content script, so it can read and change all of your data on the websites you visit. And it's running. I could allow it to run in incognito or not, etc. So it's enabled. So here we go. Now, I'm gonna open up my console, and I'm going to go to any web page like my tutorial, and I'm gonna hit refresh. Chrome extension go. So you can see that Chrome extension is going no matter what website I go to. I go to google.com, Chrome extension go. So that code now, with that Chrome extension installed, runs for any web page that I'm on. So now I can start to change whatever I want. So let's do something similar to what I did with the bookmarklet. I can say something like, let paragraphs equal document.get elements by tag name. I'm just trying to think of something simple to do. I can, let me try using one of these new, ES6 loops. Why not in this video randomly? So I think I could say for element of paragraphs. I think this is a new ES6 loop, so what I'm doing, why am I covering this in the middle of this video? I'll never know why I just decided to do this. But instead of iterating over with I can just say paragraphs is an array, and I want to look at each element of the array. So let's see if I get this right. And I'm going to say element.style background color equals, some color. So let's see now if now here's the thing. I'm going to go back to this page, and I'm going to get to where there's some paragraphs, and I'm going to hit refresh. Nothing happened. Okay, well, let me make sure. Let me debug this. Right? Chrome extension go, question mark. I should see the new message, right? Now I'm going to go back and hit refresh. There's no question mark there. Still just says Chrome extension go. So here's one of the things it's really hard to remember, but you have to remember. When you change the code, you've got to go back here and click reload. You've got to ask the Chrome extensions page to reload the source code from that unpacked extension from that folder. So I'm going to hit reload, and then I'm going to, I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to do this. And we can see, there it does. This Chrome extension, no matter what page I'm on, I don't know, I'll go to the IMA website for ITP, right? You can see it's made all the paragraphs pink on this page. So this is pretty much, this is done, at least this first video. What I wanted to show you is what are the pieces of a Chrome extension? Well, one thing you can do with a Chrome extension is alter the content of the web page or alter the behavior, write JavaScript code. Now, it's really important to realize, something that I didn't mention explicitly, which I think is important to realize, is if you look at the code, there's no, like in P5, you have to put stuff in function setup, or in maybe there's like window.onload, or in jQuery there's some kind of like ready with a $sign or something crazy like that. Typically, you want to execute your JavaScript code after the web page has loaded, so you need an event. The web page is loaded, execute this code. By definition, the content script does not run until the page is already loaded. I can also have the Chrome extension work for just a particular web page. There's a specific syntax to what you're allowed to put in matches, and I'm often getting it wrong. In fact, there was a little edit point there because I just had some trouble figuring it out. So me in the chat just gave me a good suggestion. So you can use wildcards. So I think like this would basically say like any URL with Schiffman in it. Or like, for example, any URL with GitHub in it. Let's just be, I'm going to be, so that probably works, but I'm going to just also show you, like, I can say like any Schiffman.net page, whether it is, so one thing I could do is like this, whether it's HTTP or HTTPS. I'm pretty sure this will work. So now this content script will only execute on those pages. So I'm going to hit reload. Oh, there's a comma there. Wait, there should be a comma there. Oh no, there shouldn't be a comma here. That's the last element of the array. So retry, there we go. And now if I go to here, oops, refresh, still making everything pink, but if I go to the ITP IMA website, we can see nothing is now pink. So it's only changing the, it's only running this content script for those URLs. And interestingly enough, notice how content scripts is an array. So I can have certain content scripts for certain URLs and certain content script for other URLs, all within the same extension. So this can become a much larger project with all sorts of permutations. But this is the very basic idea. Okay, so what I've shown you so far is the basic anatomy of a Chrome extension, manifest file, if you want to have a content, not all Chrome extensions need content scripts, but it's a good place to start. Content script, what URLs that you want to match, what's your JavaScript code. What I haven't done is shown you anything about how to actually think about the browsing experience beyond just the actual web page you're on. So for example, what if I want to know when the user is typing here? Or what if I want to know when the user opens a new tab? Or what if I want to add a button to over there that I designed myself, that when the user presses that button, it shows them all the, it shows them every time the word kitten appears on the web page with a count or something. Like a terrible example. So this is what I'm going to do next. And the thing that I need for that, which I will do in the next video, is what's called a background script. So a Chrome extension can have a background script. Content script executes for every web page that matches the URL after it's loaded. The background script is actually a thing that runs as soon as you launch Chrome, and it's always there listening for all of the events of the things you might be doing in Chrome. Are you opening a new tab? Or are you pressing a button on the interface? Are you typing in the address bar? So this is going to unlock a lot of other kinds of possibilities, and it's what I will show you in the next video.